Did you know that 90% of diabetics are walking around with absolutely no idea that they have the disease? If you are living in a developed or developing country and you are watching this video from a cell phone, a laptop, or a computer, there's a very good chance that you might be one of those people. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can find out if you're at risk for diabetes without having to go to the doctor, have your blood drawn, without having to prick your finger, or without having to use fancy scales and equipment. All you're going to need is a calculator and a tape measure. So pause this video, get those two things, come back and stay until the end of the video. Hi there, Mike Chan here of Lumiere Skin and Spa. Welcome to 360 Anti-Aging TV. What is diabetes and how is it causing you to age much faster? Many people have heard of the disease, but most people don't understand what diabetes is. Sadly, many doctors have a very incomplete understanding of diabetes, and as a result, a lot of people are walking around thinking that diabetes is genetic and irreversible. Neither of those are true. As a matter of fact, diabetes is very much preventable and reversible, and it is a necessary first step to slowing down the aging process. Many progressive doctors and scientists now believe that diabetes is in fact the #1 killer of people living in modern societies. Why? Because diabetes is essentially the branch point for diseases like cancer, stroke, heart disease, and neurodegenerative disorders. What does this mean? If you suffered from cancer, stroke, heart disease, or neurodegenerative disorders, have your doctor look back. There's a very good chance they will find you are in fact diabetic. As a matter of fact, Alzheimer's, which is the degeneration of the brain, is now commonly called type 3 diabetes. So what is diabetes? A lot of people think that diabetes is high blood sugar. Wrong. The high blood sugar is just a symptom of the actual disease, which is an energy imbalance inside your body. I want you to think of a fever as a result of an infection. If you contract a viral or bacterial infection, there's a very good chance that you will run a fever so that your body can fight off the infection. The fever is not the actual disease. Rather, it is just a symptom. Get rid of the infection, the fever automatically goes away. In the same way, if you can rebalance the energy intake and output of your body, your blood sugars will automatically come down. Now, I want you to think of food. Whenever we take in food, we are essentially doing two things. We are taking energy in the form of fats and carbohydrates, and we are taking protein to form building blocks to repair cells, organs, and tissue. Protein to rebuild the body, fats and carbohydrates to power the body. Now, I want you to focus on the energy equation of food. Whenever we don't burn all the energy we take in, we can store this inside adipose tissue or our fat cells. There is a healthy way to do this, and it is by storing energy inside subcutaneous fat. Subcutaneous fat is the fat that you find underneath your skin. Now, because fat is such an efficient energy storage form, you don't need a lot of fat in order to store a lot of energy. 1 gram of fat will give you 9 calories. So let me translate for you in real life terms. I am 155 pounds and I hover between 10 to 12% body fat. A lot of people say I am very lean, and that is true. But that 10% body fat at 155 pounds is already 15.5 pounds. If you will convert that to grams, that is roughly 7,030 grams. And at 9 calories per gram, that gives me almost 65,000 calories worth of energy that I'm storing underneath my skin. That means I cannot eat for 21 days or more and not starve to death because I have access to all this food inside my fats. So you see, once again, human beings were never really designed to carry too much fat. Why? Because too much fat will slow you down, and too much fat damages your body. If you will take a look at pictures of traditional hunter-gatherer tribes, these are peoples who still hunt and forage for their own foods, pretty much the same way our ancestors did 10,000 years ago and beyond. You can see that they're very fit and muscular. If you look at the incidence of obesity in America, it is at 34% and climbing. If you look at the rates of obesity in these people, they are at 0%. And this is where the problem of diabetes actually begins. Because we don't have the ability to store too much fat in a healthy manner underneath our skin, once the storage space or your subcutaneous layer runs out, you begin to develop fat around the viscera or the area outside of your organs. And this is where you begin to develop central adiposity. Once you run out of space there, now the fat begins to travel ectopically or in places where they don't belong, like the heart, the lungs, the kidney. And at this point, you are a full-blown diabetic. But the problem actually begins to happen way before you reach that point. When you start to develop central adiposity or fat around the midsection, that's already a very good sign that you're running out of space underneath your skin and you're beginning to develop diabetes. If you will take a look at the foods that nature actually provides us, the foods that we eat like pork, beef, chicken, fish, lamb, some vegetables like soys and legumes, you will find an almost perfect 1:1 ratio of energy and protein. What this means is that for every gram of protein that you're getting, you're also going to be getting 1 gram of energy. Now, this is the way we ate for millions and millions of years. But why did that change? It's because food manufacturers discovered that protein was actually expensive and that fats and carbohydrates, the energy component of food, is actually cheaper to manufacture. In fact, manufacturers discovered that by refining and processing carbohydrates and fats, they could condense large amounts of energy inside very small packages. And this is what they're selling us. What does this mean for us? It means that for the past 50 years, we have been eating more and more energy. And for the past 50 years, the incidence of non-communicable progressive diseases like cancer, diabetes, stroke, and heart disease have been skyrocketing. So how do you know if you are already at risk or already have diabetes? Going to the hospital and having your blood drawn isn't necessarily the best way. In a hospital setting, your blood sugar readings have to be over 126 milligrams per deciliter in order for you to be officially diagnosed as diabetic. But the sad reality is, there really isn't much difference between blood readings of 100, 110, 120, or 130 milligrams per deciliter. Anytime you are above baseline or normal, which is around 85 milligrams per deciliter, you are already on your way to developing diabetes. 127 milligrams per deciliter is just a clinical cutoff point for you to be officially diagnosed. Now, I want you to think of it like a speed limit on a certain road. If the speed limit for the certain highway is 100 miles per hour and a police officer clocks you with a radar gun going 100 miles per hour, he can officially give you a ticket for speeding. But if the radar gun reads 98 or 99, you are not yet officially speeding. But really, there is no difference danger-wise between driving 100 miles per hour and driving 99 or 98. It is just a cutoff point. You are already damaging your organs and accelerating the aging process long before you hit that clinical cutoff. So how can you tell? Now, take that tape measure and measure your waistline 1 inch above your belly button. Mine is 75 centimeters. Go ahead and write yours down. Next, I want you to take that same tape measure and measure your height. Mine is 175 centimeters. Go ahead and write yours down. Now, I want you to take your waist measurement and divide that by your height measurement. If your waist circumference is greater than 0.50, there's a very good chance that you are already diabetic or on your way there. You can also use an app to do this. All you need to do is type waist to height ratio calculator on Google and several will pop out. This is what I use. And all you need to do is input your waist circumference and your height, making sure you're using the same unit of measurement, and press enter. And here you go. Mine is 0.44. Now, you want to be between 0.43 and 0.47 for optimal health. So what happens if you find yourself above 0.5 and you are at risk or already have diabetes? What can you do to reverse this condition? There are two things. Number one, remove all processed foods from your diet. Why? Because processed foods contain the greatest amounts of energy and the least amounts of protein. As a matter of fact, you cannot get those ratios in natural foods. It is almost impossible. You can only get them from man-made foods. Tip number two, build skeletal muscle. Remember I told you earlier that the safest place to put in excess energy is in subcutaneous fat or underneath the skin. There's another safe place, and that is skeletal muscle. Muscle is your main metabolic sink, and it allows you to take circulating energy in the form of carbohydrates and fats and store it inside skeletal muscle where it can be burned off or stored. The more muscle you have, the more you have the ability to take in excess energy. I do hope you found this video useful, and if you or any of your loved ones are at risk for diabetes, then please do share this video with them. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click the notification bell so that you're going to be notified every time I have a new video out. If you have any questions, feel free to reach us on our website. It's www.lumiereskinandspa.com, and you can also reach us on social media, Facebook and Instagram. It's Lumiere Skin and Spa. Always remember, if you're not aging deliberately, chances are you're not aging well. Until next time, this has been Mike Chan, to your looks and good health. Branch anti-aging and laser clinic called Lumiere Skin and Spa. I'm also a certified medical and laser esthetician, and I've trained with some of the best practitioners both here and abroad. So I'm very familiar with what lasers can and cannot do.